Hi, so now that we've discussed some of the basic guidelines and what the course is about, let's now learn Python. It is the most widely used programming language for data science. There are alternatives like R, but overall, you'll find that Python is easily the most popular. A- And why is that? I mean, why do people use Python for data science, machine learning? Well, you'll see that it's very easy to use. It's English language based, so the syntax is very easy to understand. It's an interpreter-based language, so what it means is you can execute your code line by line immediately in your development environment, and we'll show you why that is. Um, which makes it easy to prototype and quickly build the models and see the results compared to other languages where you have to write the full code, compile it, and then execute it. So it just makes it that much more simpler to build and test the models. The other big advantage of using Python is you'll find that a lot of the data science and machine learning libraries are built in Python or integrated with Python very easily. So all the basic stats, maths libraries, the visualization libraries, database connectivities, all of them are written in Python. And this is a historic reason because people who were building these machine learning models found that it was easier to build it in Python and it became popular. And it is still one of the most popular programming languages. And despite being interpreter based, it is still a very good programming language if you want to implement high level features like OOPS, your basic methods and classes and multi-threading. I mean, these are generally more used in languages like, say, Java or a C Sharp or any other such language. But Python has all of those functionalities and is very good for implementing these features too. Uh, and finally, it has a very large global online community. There are a lot of forums, online blogs, a lot of discussion forums where you can ask for help if you get stuck in any problem. If you go to Stackflow or if you go to GitHub, you'll find mm, tons of examples and people responding and helping each other to solve specific uh, functionality or their own specific problems. Uh, and there's a huge amount of free resources available online. Uh, so as a basic guide, you will see Python by itself provides its own tutorial. It has a online learning guide, and then there are some very nice beginners book like this one, which is mentioned here, Think Python. And these are all free, very well explained, and you will find that if you actually use them, uh, you will become good at Python, and you can pretty much do any data science project that you need to do. Uh, and apart from that, of course, you will have courses on Udemy or any other online learning platform, YouTube channels, videos, blogs. Uh, it's easy to find, easy to learn. So that's why you'll see that it's a very popular programming language. Some surveys done for the use of Python in different programming environments. And you will see that, for example, in Stack Overflow, in one of their latest polls, you'll see that Python is actually the most popular general purpose programming language ahead of Java or C Sharp. Um, and you will similarly see in KD Nuggets, which is a very popular machine learning data science blog, which does a lot of polls. You will again see that Python has constantly gained popularity over the years, and something like R has started to wane in use. Similarly, things like Spark. So there is real proof that it's sensible to learn Python for data science, and then you can easily translate that knowledge to any other programming language if required. We've given you links for these surveys, so you can go online and check them. Uh, so how do you get started with Python? Well, one of the first things is you need to install the Python package in your machine. And the easiest way would be to use a pip install on the command prompt, and we'll show you how to do that. Or the other way would be to use an integrated development environment like Anaconda. It's free for individuals, widely used. It comes pre-installed with all the necessary packages for doing any machine learning or data science project. So it has the Python, Pandas, NumPy, scikit-learn, everything pre-installed. And in case it doesn't have any libraries, you can always install them. Look at how we can get started with the Anaconda. We'll go to this web link, and then we can go here, download this package. Uh, and so for example, if you have a Mac machine, you can just download it, follow all the instructions. So we won't be doing that at this point because we've already got this installed. So let me show you where it is here. And by default, there is a base environment, but it's generally safer to create your own dev environment. What you can do is go here and then create a new environment using Python. What that allows is for you to install only specific libraries that you need, and you'll find that the dependencies and different tools work much better. So as part of this dev environment, then what you can do is open the terminal, and once you do that, then you can execute your Python queries on that. So let's look at what's already installed in the dev environment, and there's a nice conda command for that, conda list, and it'll show you all the different packages that are already installed. And you'll see if you look for Python, and if you say you want to uh, Python, you'll see that it's already installed. So now let's just do a very simple Python query uh, execution here. So what we will do is just simply execute a very simple Python command, and that will then show you how to use Python. Uh, and as part of this course, we'll be using Spider, which is the integrated development environment which comes part of Anaconda, and it's a very nice, useful IDE. It has a text editor where you can write the code. You can see all your variables. You can execute the commands directly in the IPython console here. You can see the results of your executions here, or you can always go to the command prompt and execute. So let's see how we can do that. One thing also to note is that Jupyter is another very popular web-based notebook. Um, and what you'll find is that for most of the new online platforms, or generally in a lot of the industries, you'll find people use Jupyter. It's a very nice and easy to use online notebook, but I think it has certain limitations in terms of execution and viewing. So you can always try and use that. We'll use Spider as part of this course. Um, so now, so the best way, as I said, is just download Anaconda and start coding. Okay, so now let's look at a very simple example in Python to understand the basic syntax, and we'll start with the famous hello world statement. I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen that whenever you started a new programming course. Uh, and we'll do the same here in Python, and we'll do it two ways. One is through the command prompt, which is called terminal in the Mac, or in the Windows environment, it's the command prompt, and then of course through Spider. Um, this allows you to see how to execute basic Python commands. So here, if you open the Spider IDE, you can just type the print hello world, and print is the basic print command in Python. And then when you execute that, if you run that command, you can see it prints hello world here. Um, Now another way to see that is of course through the command prompt. So what we'll do is, since we've got Python running here, we'll just type it and say hello world, and then when you execute that, it has printed hello world. So it's just a very easy and simple, as you can see, language to start working with. And throughout this course, we'll give you lots of examples on how to execute the different commands. One thing to note is that the hash is used to highlight any comments. So these are not the code executing statements, but just to give you useful information about the code. And you'll see them throughout the Python examples. So here we've given the name and introduction and everything else. Another thing to note with Python is that you don't need a comma or a semicolon or a bracket to specify in the end of a line or a statement. It uses indentation for that, and it always highlights if you made any error there. So if you had if x is greater than y, then do this, or else do that. You don't have to put x is greater than y inside brackets. So all you have to do is basically just type that and print, and you'll see the results of those examples. Okay, so as we mentioned, all the Python code with the data and all the examples is in the below GitHub location. So now let's look at this repository and see how the files are stored, where it is stored, how you can access them. So let's go to GitHub. If you don't have a GitHub account, you can create it for free. It's very useful and always nice to have such an account. So please go ahead and create one. You can always sign up. And in case you don't have one and you just want to access the files and the data, you can still do so. So we'll go to this location here. As you can see, the Part 1 course is here. It has the data, the examples, and some more data which we'll come to as we progress during the course. So all your examples for all the different chapters, the lectures in that are all here, which contain all the Python code. So right now, we want to see all the files for the Python programming. So here you have a list of all the different Python code samples, and you can download them and work on them in your machine and experiment with them by using them in different ways. And the best way to use them would be to download the entire folder. I mean, here, for example, what you can always do is, just go into any file and you can always open it and see what it is. And you can copy and paste, or the easier way would be just go back to the entire course and you can just download the file. So it gives you a zip file for the whole thing. And once you do that, you can take that zip file, unzip it into any of your file directory structures, and just make sure that when you're running your sample code, you have the right path. So here we've got the folder structure, but it's most likely stored on your machine under some users or username. So you just make sure that you're appending your file paths correctly, or pointing the system path to the correct folder. And you'll see that in the sample codes. And if you go into your Python IDE, you can see that you can open all the files here if you're pointing to the right folder. So I've got that directory structure here, and I've got all my Python files, so I can open each and every one of them, and I've got my code here and I can execute it. So hopefully this gets you set up and started, and in case you face any problems, you can always get back to me put a comment down in the comment section, drop us a mail, uh, any any issues that you face. Thank you.